How's it going, guys? And welcome back to another episode of Dzeeff reviews cards before all of them are released. In the first installment of this series, I discussed the new Crystal Beast Fusion monster. This is its effect if you haven't seen it. I've already talked about this card twice now, but just to reiterate, I don't think this card's very good. I understand that a lot of casual players think it's like halfway decent, especially with the second wave of support, but overall, if you're trying to play a quote-unquote competitive or a competitive rogue version of Crystal Beast, I don't think you'll be playing this card. It's just not worth it. So that card got released. I made this video talking about how I didn't feel it was very good, and then I got screwed because like a couple days later we got two new cards announced, and we'll talk about the trap card first. I mean, once again, I've already done this, but the trap card at least made the fusion monster playable, because it just let you fusion summon it, sort of like a future fusion, so you didn't have to have all the cards like among your grave and hand and field. You could just send 7 Crystal Beast cards from your deck to the grave, so that's pretty good. And I thought that was like halfway decent. At the very least, it made the fusion monster playable in a casual sense, and that's fine. There are cards that not every card has to be designed to be competitive. And I think that's something that I didn't quite discuss in the last two videos. I really have nothing against casual players. It's just I don't look at the game that way. I try to find cards that are competitive, or in the case of Crystal Beast, cards that make it like at least rogue. That'd be kind of cool, especially considering we keep getting screwed on the Crystal Beast Pendulum monsters that we still do not have. Very similar to the Frightfur Patchwork. But anyway, the trap card's okay. What was really good and what really sparked my interest was this spell card. It's like the most simple spell card ever, but it's really good. All it does is add a crystal spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Now, I've talked about in the past, among my hundreds of Crystal Beast deck profiles, that the best cards in the Crystal Beast deck are actually the spells. Crystal Beacon and Crystal Promise and sort of Crystal Blessing and sort of Crystal Abundance. Those are like the 4 best cards in the whole deck. The only good Crystal Beast monster is Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus. Ruby Carbuncle is okay for its effect, but like all the other parts of Ruby Carbuncle are just terrible. But Sapphire Pegasus is great. It's a non-once per turn effect that you can abuse over and over again. Good all-around stats. You can use it for Lightning Chidori. You can use it for all sorts of stuff. Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus is amazing, but more so with Crystal Beast, all you want to open is like Sapphire Pegasus and then like your spell cards. And I felt that Rainbow Bridge, the name of this spell card, actually really helped that strategy, and I was super psyched for it. However, just going off of these 2 cards and the boss monster, I didn't feel that it did enough to make the deck good, especially because in a Crystal Beast deck that you're trying to play competitively, or at least take to a regional, you would likely not play 2 of these 3 cards. You would only play the Searcher, and that's just not enough. Even the Searcher with the Pendulum support is not enough. However, this was back at the end of September that these cards were announced. And then out of nowhere, one night, a couple nights ago, I think 2 nights ago? Yeah, well, October 30th. I feel like these were revealed 2 days ago. Oh, it must have been revealed that night. I don't know. A couple days ago, Simo messaged me and said, "You're not going to believe this." And then he posted the effect of this card, Crystal Bonds, and I honestly did not believe him. It seemed like a fan card. But lo and behold, this card is real. And before I reveal the effect, I'm sure you guys already know it, but I just want to tell you that this is essentially the Frightfur Patchwork of Crystal Beast monsters. I hope it does not take as long to get as Frightfur Patchwork has taken, but oh my god, this card's good. So here we go. Crystal Bonds. Normal spell card. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. Add 1 Crystal Beast monster from your deck to your hand, and take 1 Crystal Beast monster with a different name from your deck and place it face up in your spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell. Holy crap, this card's so good. I don't know if maybe this card doesn't seem as good if you've never played Crystal Beast, but this is like It does a lot of the same things that Frightfur Patchwork does. Frightfur Patchwork lets you search unsearchable cards, specifically Edge Imp Chain, and then also lets you have a polymerization. It's a quick +1 that sets up all your other plays as long as you have any other Fluffle card to go with it. It's an instant fusion summon. Crystal Bonds is along the same lines because Crystal Bonds sets up everything. Even just looking at this card, what you'll be doing with it every single time, well, maybe not every single time, but what you'll be doing with this card most of the time is adding Sapphire Pegasus and placing Ruby Carbuncle in your back row. And that's perfectly fine. That's actually just enough to make the deck playable. Let me elaborate on that. So one combo you can do with this card is if you have Crystal Bonds and then Crystal Beacon, it instantly sets you up for like a whole bunch of summons. You go Crystal Bonds, add Pegasus, place Carbuncle, and then summon the Pegasus, put another Pegasus in your back row, and then use Crystal Beacon to summon a, well, I guess in that case, okay, hold on. So I guess if you have the Crystal Beacon, sorry, I was thinking of Crystal Promise. If you have Crystal Beacon, you can actually go Crystal Bonds, place or add Pegasus to your hand, place Cobalt Eagle, most likely, and then normal summon Pegasus, place a second Pegasus in the back row, and then Beacon for Carbuncle. Carbuncle then summons the second Pegasus and the Cobalt Eagle from your back row. The second Pegasus places whatever, most likely a third Pegasus, although possibly just like a Eagle or a Carbuncle, something random. So off of a 2-card combo, you've put 4 monsters on your field and a monster in your back row. That's a straight +3 in card advantage that you can instantly leverage into link summons and or exceed summons, and that's great. That plays actually really good. What makes this card even better, though, is the fact that you can search it with Rainbow Bridge. And I feel like this is sort of the other comparison to Frightfur Patchwork. One of the reasons that I love Frightfur Patchwork so much is that if you don't draw it, but you draw the Edge Imp Chain, you can use the Edge Imp Chain to search Patchwork. So that creates sort of a loop where you can, if you don't have Chain, you can grab it with Patchwork. If you do have Chain, you can grab Patchwork with the Chain. In the same way that with Rainbow Bridge, you can grab Crystal Bonds if you don't have it already. However, if you do have Crystal Bonds, you'll almost always just be grabbing Crystal Beacon for the combo that I just described, or Crystal Promise if you don't have that many Crystal Beast monsters left in deck, because the combo that I just described is pretty much like a first turn combo where you have access to all of your Sapphire Pegasus. But if you don't have access to all of them, you will do what I originally said, which is add Pegasus, put Carbuncle in the back row, summon Pegasus, put like a Pegasus in the back row, and then Crystal Promise for the Carbuncle. It leaves you with almost the same ending field, except that it only you have 3 monsters on the board, not 4 monsters. I don't know if that's going to be a huge difference, and I honestly don't know. I mean, with the first card, I thought that this was like the end of the Crystal Beast support, but people told me, no, just wait a couple days, and then these cards came out, but then we haven't had anything for a month, so I figured that like that's the rest of it, and then this card pops up, and it's like, what the hell, guys? Like, what are you... I mean, this is awesome. I love Crystal Beast, and it's great to hear that we keep getting these cards, but also, like, why are they giving them to us? I think now what we need... I mean, we have... I just can't even believe these cards are real. I mean, Rainbow Bridge and Crystal Bonds are staple 3-ofs. They're just actually ridiculous. Rainbow Bridge isn't even a once per turn effect, which is really stupid. But these cards make the deck playable. I don't even know if playing the Pendulum monsters is worth it anymore. I suppose playing... I don't even know their names anymore. One's Vanguard and one's... something else. The one that's there's one that you can like tribute it to search a crystal spell or trap card. I think that's just too slow now. Like at when that card was announced, it seemed really good because you could search like Beacon and Promise. But now that we have Rainbow Bridge, like there's no reason to really search those cards in a way that takes your normal summon. You might as well just play this card and search it. So these cards are great. So what do we need now? I think we need a Link monster. I don't know what the Link monster will have to do. I think a good place to start would be taking 2 Crystal Beast monsters and having an effect that like places a Crystal Beast monster from your grave to your back row when it's summoned, and then possibly an effect that like specials a Crystal Beast monster from your deck once per turn. That might be a little overpowered, although even then I'm not sure if the deck would be like top tier. But I think that we need a Link Monster, and the reason I think that is because both of the combos with Crystal Bonds, I mean, there's more combos with it, but just in general, the combos with Crystal Bonds are almost always going to let you have 3 monsters on board, one of which is usually going to be Ruby Carbuncle, one of which is going to be Sapphire Pegasus, and then the third of which could be Sapphire Pegasus, could be another Ruby Carbuncle, could be Cobalt Eagle. So you have sort of a mismatch of levels there, and I think for the deck to be good, now that we have all these really good spells, I mean, at this point, like, I don't even know. You have so many good cards, and they're all spell cards, and that makes the deck so much faster. But the Link Monster would then leverage those Crystal Beast cards into real cards. I think this deck sort of has the same problem right now that Ignites had, where none of the individual Ignites actually did anything. They just set up a board of a whole bunch of monsters that you then could make the Heroic Challenger guy with, or some like the Utopic Zeal card or whatever. And I feel like Crystal Beasts with these cards are in the same vein, where you have a lot of, I mean, now we have special summoning capabilities, we have consistency. You only need to open Rainbow Bridge or Crystal Bonds or Sapphire Pegasus. And that's just great. So that's 9 copies of cards that you can draw going first. That's actually more copies than the Fluffle deck has, because they just have the 3 Edgem Chain and the 3 Frightfur Patchwork. So they have 6 cards, and that we already know that gives them a huge boost in consistency. So this deck, I feel, it needs a win condition. We have all of the makings of an actually good deck, which is really crazy to think about, but it needs a win condition. So Konami, give us a Link Monster. It probably won't happen. I don't think this Duels Pack 19 has had any Link Monsters, but if we get a Link Monster, I feel like Crystal Beast could actually be a real competitor, at least at regional qualifiers, which is really all we can ask of them. But anyway, that's sort of my discussion on the new Crystal Beast card, Crystal Bonds. This card's crazy. I really hope that we get this card like this year instead of having to wait like 5 years for it, like fucking Frightfur Patchwork. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the analysis. Can't wait to play these cards in real life. They'll surely be a deck profile. And I will see you guys later. Bye.